Glorious movie recap here. In today's recap, I'll be talking about a 2015 horror action movie titled I Am a Hero. Spoilers ahead. Assistant manga artist Hideo Suzuki is drawing with his colleagues in the office and listening to the news. A journalist described an incident in which a dog brutally bit a 45-year-old woman. The woman started talking nonsense after the accident. Police were unable to find out what happened. The next message is about a 35-year-old man arrested for weird behavior. A colleague noticed the news was getting strange, and colleague Mitani made fun of Suzuki and the manga artist. Suzuki went on to explain that manga is the pinnacle of Japanese culture and that being a manga artist is an honor. He inspired the rest of his colleagues, and everyone chanted, "Mangas are the best." As night fell, Suzuki went home. In his apartment, he watches TV and paints with his passive-aggressive girlfriend, Teko. He reviewed his manga awards and inspirational quotes, such as, "Steve Jobs in manga and the road to mangas is hard." Suzuki was looking for inspiration for his next manga, so he pulled a gun out of the closet and looked at himself in the mirror. In the morning, everyone was coughing in the publisher's office, where Suzuki was presenting his new manga about a macho man protecting his girlfriend with a gun. The publisher didn't like the manga, calling the protagonist too normal and urging Suzuki to do better in the future. Then another manga artist teacher saw Suzuki. The teacher is more popular than him, but shared the Rookie Manga Artist Award with Suzuki 15 years ago. Later in his apartment, Suzuki gets into a fight with Tetsuko, who wants to sell the gun so they can at least get some money and pay the rent. She also wants to sell his award along with his comic book. Teko is fed up with Suzuki's failures and his dreams of becoming the next best manga artist. In a fit of rage, she broke up with him and threw him out of the apartment. Suzuki then walks into the park with his gun and begins reading Sensei's comic book. Suzuki is sitting next to a homeless man who is shaking and appears to be in pain, but he pays no attention to him. Suzuki is back in his office with his coworkers the next morning, drawing and watching the news. A new infection has already killed 4 people, according to reports. Suzuki's colleague is sweating profusely and appears to be in pain. She walks away, and Mitani tells the others how she got the virus from Sensei. Mitani notices she has the same bite mark on her neck as Sensei, which leads him to believe they are sleeping together. Their boss walks into the room and also has a bite mark. They are perplexed and inquire about the deadline, but they fail to notice his eyes becoming darker. Later, everyone at the office is sound asleep when Suzuki's phone suddenly rings. Teko apologizes for last night and wishes to continue their relationship. While on the phone, helicopters pass over the city, but Suzuki is too focused on Teko and fails to pay attention once more. He rushes to Teko's flat, bringing her favorite snack, and begs her to open the door. When no one answers, he dials her number. Suzuki peeks through the letter slot and sees Teko on the bed. Suddenly, she stands up, making strange movements, and falls to the floor. The next thing we know, she's having a seizure and her body is morphing abnormally. Suzuki notices her deformed face as she approaches the door. Suzuki is attacked by zombie Teko, who bites his hand. In his haste to flee, he accidentally stabs her in the head and flees the apartment. He notices a woman with a bleeding hand and then dozens of airplanes flying through the city as he crosses the bridge. When Suzuki returns to the office, he notices Mitani standing with his back to the TV. Suzuki, too, believes he is a zombie until he notices him holding a bloody baseball bat. So he enters the office quietly, where the rest of his coworkers are all dead zombies, and Mitani is the sole survivor. He informs Suzuki that the only way to eliminate zombies is to destroy their brains, and that those who are bitten become infected. However, Mitani is also bitten, and when he begins to turn into a zombie, he kills himself, screaming that the era of underpaid workers has arrived because all of their bosses are now dead zombies. Suzuki quickly leaves the office when another infected coworker arrives. Half of the people on the streets are unaware of what is going on. Some are strolling down the street, while others are sprinting. People quickly realize that there are zombies among them. Some begin to flee, while others become prey to the hungry zombies. Suzuki rushes up to a police officer, but the officer is also a zombie and begins following him. Suzuki is fleeing as quickly as he can when he stomps on a large group of people running in one direction. Cars are colliding, city buildings are burning, and people are being run over by ambulances. In the midst of the chaos, Suzuki notices a sleeping cab driver who is completely unaware of the zombie apocalypse. Hiromi, a high school student, approaches him before he enters. She also wants to get into the taxi, but a zombie on the phone attacks them. Suzuki imagines pulling out his rifle and aiming at the zombie, so he freezes and shoots with his fingers instead. At the same time, a man in a suit requests their taxi. They begin banging on the car windows and, fortunately, manage to get into the taxi as well, instructing the driver to take them to the countryside. The attacks are described as riots on Cat TV. Nobody seems to have any answers. So they turn on Tokyo TV and see an anime cartoon being aired. Suzuki believes Tokyo is safe because the channel is showing anime, but the cartoon soon ends and the attacks begin. While they are watching, the man in the business suit is on the phone, ordering someone to shoot everyone, including the Prime Minister, if necessary. When he hangs up, he begins to whine about the poor and then displays a bite on his arm. His blood vessels quickly darken. He's becoming a zombie while saying, "Hey, poor people, give me a tissue." The cab driver is unaware that the businessman is becoming a zombie, so he offers him a tissue. The new zombie then bites him and complains about the terrible quality of people's meat. Suzuki manages to shove the zombie out of the car after the driver unlocks the door. When the taxi driver's veins begin to turn black, he begins by telling them about how he was a great taxi driver for 30 years with no car wrecks. Then he becomes enraged and begins driving like a lunatic. Hiromi takes the back seat, which is a good thing because the taxi driver soon starts attacking them. Suzuki and Hiromi fasten their seatbelts because the car is moving fast. They soon collide with another car and begin to tumble. When Suzuki awakens, the car has been turned over, but Hiromi is still alive. When they get out of the car, they notice that the entire road is blocked due to a massive car collision. Because all the cars are empty and no one is on the road, Suzuki and Hiromi sit on the sidewalk and begin browsing the internet to find out what's going on. They learn that the virus's name is ZQN and that it corrupts the personalities and bodies of those who become infected, resulting in body disparities. When night falls, they find an abandoned house to sleep in. They start talking about Suzuki's riffle while eating the melon bread Suzuki bought for Teko. He tells Hiromi that he didn't use it because it's illegal to use a riffle in public. He considers it more of a protective charm. Hiromi then mentions that she has a protection charm in the form of her earphones. They begin listening to music and she begins to open up, telling Suzuki that she's comfortable with him. Suzuki stares at her while she sleeps and he likes her despite the fact that she is underage. However, he notices a bite mark on her neck and pulls out his rifle to defend himself. Hiromi then describes how she was bitten by her neighbor's baby 2 days ago and how ZQN can spread through breast milk, implying that she is likely infected. Hiromi doesn't mind Suzuki killing her because she has nothing left in this world, but Suzuki refuses and tells her he, too, has been bitten. He takes the rifle and swears to protect her until they reach Mount Fuji, where the virus will be killed. When Hiromi becomes ill, they begin their terrifying adventure by passing through a forest. Suzuki is asked to leave her because she does not want to eat him. She gives him the earphones for good luck as a farewell gift and begs him to leave as she begins to turn. Suzuki begins running through the forest, approaching a man he notices from a distance. But he's just another zombie. The zombie attacks Suzuki and is about to devour his face when Hiromi appears out of nowhere and kills the zombie while saving Suzuki. With a face that is half demonic and half human, she begins removing the zombie's body parts without injuring Suzuki. Instead, she assists him in getting up. Suzuki and Hiromi are sitting near a trailer park when we notice Suzuki looking for canned food. Hiromi, the half-zombie, is silent and it's clear that she has zombie impulses. Suzuki, however, sees her as no threat and they continue their journey to Mount Fuji together. After a few days, Suzuki, now sporting a full beard, is carrying Hiromi on his back when he comes across a shopping cart on the forest road. Despite the fact that he cannot find food, he loads Hiromi into the cart and begins walking toward Fuji Outlet Park. The entire outlet is empty when they arrive. He is trying on jackets in one of the stores when the zombie store manager attacks him. Tsugumi Oda, another woman wearing a mask, kills the zombie with an axe while Hiromi is sleeping. When other masked people arrive and begin asking questions about the two new people, she begins staring at the strange sleeping Hiromi. When more zombies appear, everyone starts running toward a safe location. Everyone who was not infected created a safe zone on the outlet's rooftop. Suzuki is invited to join, and he brings Hiromi along without telling anyone that she is half zombie. They have everything, from food and tents to books and Rolex watches, in the safe zone. Suzuki's riffle piques Tsugumi's interest. However, he informs her that he is only a manga artist. She inquires whether Hiromi is his sister, to which he responds that they met while fleeing zombies. Tsugumi begins to like the manga artist because she believes he is a good person. She also describes how those infected with ZQN live in the past. Hiromi observes Suzuki in the morning, and he wonders if she understands him. Suzuki then tells her a poem while she smiles. Hiromi appears to be improving. Later, while watching the zombies, Suzuki notices one of them running, jumping really high, and hitting his head on the ground. Abe, an elderly man, explains how the zombies are continuing to do what they have done in the past. And how each zombie is unique. Suzuki then inquires about the zombies who sit on the ground and appear to be made of charcoal, but Abe remains silent. Something occurred in the safe zone that no one wants to talk about. Following that, Suzuki attends a meeting with the remaining survivors. They intend to enter the underground food storage facility. Suzuki's only request is that he hand over his rifle. He refuses because it is illegal, but the leader, Iura, claims that there are no laws in the safe zone. Then Iura threatens Hiromi with death if he doesn't get the rifle. Meanwhile, some of the survivors are attempting to kidnap Hiromi, and Tsugumi is attempting to stop them. Suzuki suspects something, rushes out of the meeting, and discovers Hiromi kidnapped. If they don't let Hiromi go, he threatens to shoot them with a rifle. The leader then points a gun at Hiromi, who is standing there silently. Nobody suspects she has the ability to kill anyone in an instant. But she can't take it any longer and throws the two guys off her with a single movement, revealing that she is a ZQN. She has rainbow-colored eyes because she is only half zombie. The leader doesn't care, so he shoots in her head, knocking Hiromi to the ground. They take Suzuki's rifle as he sobs over the girl's death. They begin kicking and punching Suzuki as he begs forgiveness. They soon start fighting over who will kill him. It appears that even humans crave the taste of blood. Everyone starts fighting, and Iura is eventually deposed by someone else. They abandon Suzuki, and he discovers Tsugami in front of Hiromi's tent. She hid Hiromi, who is still alive, with the help of Abe. Tsugami explains to Suzuki how Hiromi differs from the other ZQN, and that she has a pulse. She also tells him how she ran away from her responsibilities and left her patients alone in the hospital, praising Suzuki for saving Hiromi. Suzuki is still upset because he was unable to pull the trigger on Iura and lost his gun. He believes he is a weakling and a loser, but Tsugami tells him that he is simply a good person. Suzuki then apologizes for being a bad human and asks Tsugami to look after the girl because he needs to go to the food storage with the others. Later, a few survivors use pans to draw the zombies' attention to the roof, while the rest of the survivors make their way from the other side of the building to the underground food storage. When they arrive beneath the building, everything is dark and one of them makes an unintentional noise. Someone turns on the lights while they are walking, but no one questions it. They quickly locate the storage, but they are unaware that someone is watching them through the security camera. While they are packing food, the mysterious observer turns on music in the outlet, and soon after, a zombie attacks one of the survivors, also looking for a snack. They shoot both the victim and the zombie, but the parking lot is full of other zombies. Suzuki is the last to run, apologizing for abandoning one of the people who is being eaten alive. Because of poor tactics and the survivors' selfishness, the majority are eaten and killed in the parking lot. And the man responsible for all of this is none other than Iura, who deliberately turned on the music to attract the zombies. He had another plan, which was to take the only car in the parking lot. Suzuki seeks refuge in a storage locker amid the chaos. At the same time, the high-jumping zombie stalks the roof, preparing for a big leap. He runs fast and jumps as high as he can, landing on a tent. One of the survivors notices the zombie approaching her and freezes. The zombie devours her and immediately attacks another woman, crushing her head with his bare hands. Iura examines security tapes and enters a passkey, allowing more zombies to enter. Suzuki is still hiding when he hears over the walkie-talkie that a zombie has killed nearly everyone on the rooftop. Tsugami is terrified on the roof with Hiromi, so she desperately calls for help on the walkie-talkie. Nobody responds because everyone is either hiding or being eaten. Suzuki is still hiding in the locker, running through scenarios in his head about escaping and killing the zombies that surround him, but in every scenario, he dies. He decides to stay in the locker because his fear and imagination are getting the best of him, but he hears Tsugami crying on the walkie-talkie, which reminds him of Hiromi. He realizes he must conquer his fear, so he begins shouting and exits the locker. Suzuki is instantly ambushed by a zombie, which bites him. However, because he is wearing 10 Rolex watches on his wrist, the zombie does not infect him. Suzuki then grabs the walkie-talkie and informs Tsugami that he's on his way. However, they plan to meet in the parking lot and steal one of the automobiles. Tsugami is carrying Hiromi on her back, while Suzuki fights zombies using smart methods, such as throwing rice on the floor, to make the monsters slip. When she comes, he discovers Iura, who wishes to have sexual relations with her while leaving Suzuki behind. However, Iura is also bitten, and he swiftly transforms into a zombie. Tsugami begins to escape with Hiromi on her back, but Suzuki arrives and saves them. He discovered the rifle and blasts Iura's brains out. They soon notice a big number of zombies chasing behind Aid. Nobody knows what to do when the survivors are besieged by zombies. However, Hiromi begins to speak for the first time, assuring Suzuki that she feels safe with him. He then becomes inspired and begins shooting as many zombies as he can. Only Suzuki, Hiromi, and Tsugami survive in the end. Except for the athlete zombie who leaped from the roof, they manage to kill all of the zombies. Suzuki manages to fire the zombie in the head despite having just one round left. The gunshot has no effect on the zombie because his head has already been flattened. Instead, he walks right up to Tsugami and Hiromi. But the hero does not give up and uses the rifle like a bat to permanently smash the zombie's brain. The three emerge through the opening, surrounded by a flood of dead zombies. Tsugami lights a cigarette and starts on music in the car, as Suzuki wonders whether he, too, will turn into a zombie. Despite this, he does not consider himself a hero. Like the video and subscribe and make sure to turn on notifications for more content. Thanks so much for watching.